How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this week's Q&A. So like any other week, if you want a chance at one of your questions being answered, make sure you drop a comment down below with your question, and I'll either answer in next week's video or in the comment itself. Or I'll make a dedicated video if need be. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the first question of the week. And it is, why is my auto idle stop not working or working sometimes? So there's a couple things that can contribute to that. So first things first, if your battery is weak, so your 12-volt battery, if that's weak, it may keep or prevent the system from working properly due to the fact that if it shuts off, it may not be able to restart itself, considering you may have, the music playing or whatnot, maybe the blower motor going or whatever the case may be. So another thing is also if you do have the AC, specifically in the summer or, in the winter, with the heat trying to get the car up to temperature, or the car cooled off in the summer, whatever the case may be, it may not, cause it to go into auto idle stop and prevent it from doing it because of that. So also it has to be in operating temperature. If not, it won't do it. Some vehicles may not auto stop, also due to the seatbelt from the driver's side not being clicked in. Mine is always clicked in, so I never have an issue with that. You also have to depress the brake pedal all the way down firmly. If not, it may not engage the system. The newer cars tell you that you have to depress it a little bit more for it to engage. Some of the older first generation vehicles with that don't necessarily do that. So it really depends on the vehicle. And also if you have any fault code, so a check engine light or transmission light, it may not go into idle stop as well, because something else bigger may be going on and the vehicle is just protecting itself. So if all those are good, if your battery voltage is good, you don't have the AC full blast, your seatbelt's buckled in, you've been driving the car for a minute, and it's up to temperature and all that good stuff, and it's not extremely cold outside, my TLX will tell me battery or vehicle still warming up, auto stop won't engage, or whatever says. So if all that is good and it's still not going into the idle stop, then you may have an issue going on. Most common things we see are a weak battery, so it'll be strong enough to start the car, but not, the system will auto protect itself from putting you in a bad situation if you were at a stoplight or a stop sign and the car wouldn't start itself. Obviously, that could be a panicking situation for somebody. So it's just protecting you from being in that situation. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so the next question is an Italian tune-up beneficial into eliminating some carbon? So an Italian tune-up is just you essentially going out there on the road and mashing the throttle 4 or 5 different times and just, kind of beating up the car a little bit. Now, personally, I don't have any evidence, yay or nay, for this, but it is, an older thing that people used to do, back in the day. So obviously, does it completely eliminate carbon? Absolutely not. Does it help maybe break up some of that initial carbon that's just clinging there, by a hair? Maybe, maybe not. I do like to get on my car at least once a drive cycle to, just possibly break up any carbon that's there hanging on by a thread or whatnot, so it just doesn't start to, cake up. Obviously, it's not going to prevent carbon from building up long term, especially on these direct injection engines. Although, why not, right? Again, I have no evidence to say yay or nay, but my cars typically run good. I do the maintenance, do all that good stuff. So if you feel like it, great. If you have any opinion or any experience with this, if you actually took a borescope into a manifold before and after, looked at the valves, then drop a comment down below with your results. I really don't think it works like that. But again, it's not a bad thing to do per se. And I would, if you're up to it, do it. If not, then, so be it as well. But again, if anybody has any, history or anything like that they would like to implement or input in the comment section down below, please feel free to do so. All right, so the next question is it better to get Reman parts versus new parts? And it really depends on the situation. So Reman parts are typically a little bit more affordable and come with a better warranty. So for instance, a caliper that's Reman will have a 3-year warranty versus a new caliper will have a 1-year warranty only. And, the only time that would be at a disadvantage is if your old part is failed or destroyed or broken, or you don't have one, then you would have to pay for the core and probably end up being more than a new part itself. Although, like I said, just for warranty purposes, I do think it is better to get a Reman part. Some parts aren't always available Reman, some are, so it really depends on the situations. Typically, you're talking starters, alternators, calipers, transmissions, things of that nature. And absolutely, I would probably try to get a Reman part as long as it's a reliable source, especially being OEM. It's going to come with a 3-year warranty for that, and it is a great option. Also, some parts aren't available new, so sometimes you really don't have the choice. But yeah, it really depends on the situation. If you have a chance to pick up a Reman part with a great warranty on it, especially being OEM applicable, and you do have a part to exchange with it, then I say absolutely go for it. So hopefully that answers the question for you. So this next topic is actually a question that I inputted into this week's Q&A. And recently I had an issue with a customer that bought a car with a salvage title and ended up needing a lot more work than he initially thought. So I actually run across this several times, maybe a month or so, 2 or 3 times a month. And unfortunately, there could be scenarios where a salvage title vehicle is worth it. Like, for instance, a hailstorm that the repair was just too much for the insurance to cover and they didn't want to be bothered. So the vehicle at that point becomes a salvageable. And, if you're okay with driving around a dented car or want to put in the money to repair it, then obviously that is fine. Now, when a vehicle is salvaged due to a structural damage or flooding, I would absolutely proceed with caution. So a lot of people took that video the wrong way, and most of the comments were from people that bought either salvaged cars or were in the business of buying salvaged cars, fixing them and flipping them. So obviously those people got irritated at the video because I'm being honest and suggesting people 9 out of 10 times to not buy a salvaged car because with structural or body damage, there's a lot of times you don't see the extent of the damage before you really dig into there. So when these people buy these cars to flip them, I'm not going to say everyone, but most of them have bad intentions, right? They want to make a quick buck with a quick flip. So in those cases, they make the outside look awesome, looks great, looks, okay. To me, it's not acceptable because I'll be able to tell, where the imperfections are or whatnot. But to most people, they won't know, a good car from a salvageable car. And at that point, like I said, they hide a lot of things. So sometimes they might not hide a lot of things. They just might not know something is actually wrong. So in this instance, the customer came in with the transmission codes, trans was slipping, it was low on fluid, the radius support had pushed into the trans, cracked the front case, and potentially the back actual case of it too. So I recommended more diag time initially, but then I spoke to the customer and we decided collectively that it was best for him to move on due to the fact that the passenger mount was an inch away from where it needed to be. So obviously the car had structural damage. The bolt had snapped, the bracket was, snapped. So obviously everything could be fixed, although at what cost? And being that the car has a salvage title, the next person you may try to sell it to may not want to deal with that because they know it has a salvage title and may have more, damage than, again, initially thought. So this person, was a grown man, he was almost in tears. He just, he was devastated that he had made a purchase, a sizable purchase. It was like a 21 Pilot or something. So obviously the vehicle, he probably paid a lot of money for it. Maybe he's making payments. I'm not sure on the situation, and I didn't really ask. But I told him, considering what I saw at that time, potential needing a trans, potential needing to have the frame straightened out if possible, he should probably cut his losses at that point. And we decided not to charge him anything, and he went on his way. So as far as flooded cars go, a lot of times it may seem like one thing, but eventually there ends up being corrosion on all sorts of electronics and costing people a fortune of money. So especially with flooded cars, it may not be a apparent issue initially. We may fix one thing because that's where the diag led us to, and eventually ends up being something on the complete opposite side of the car because, again, there was moisture in the vehicle and connectors ended up corroding, or components and, throwing a fault code or not working eventually over time. Now, if you're mechanically inclined and you're okay with this and you want to, you know where you're getting into, great. That's good for you. I would still personally not buy it because I know the headaches associated with it 99 out of 100 times. Now, if you're in a market for a salvage car or any used car, and I'm going to make a video on this, I'll get to it probably within the next couple weeks. But make sure you're paying somebody that is familiar with that particular vehicle and looking into these types of situations with salvage cars, whether it be flooded or, mechanical or, whatever, frame damage or anything like that, that they know where they know what they're looking for, and they tell you whether it costs you $100, $200, $300, whatever the case may be. You'd rather lose $100, $200, $300 versus getting stuck with somebody else's headache that they try to make a quick buck on. So that's my 2 cents on that, and hopefully anyone considering buying a salvage car takes this into consideration and just at the very least take somebody that's knowledgeable and can help you assess the car properly. Last but not least, question of the week. And once again, if you want a chance of one of your questions being answered, make sure you do drop a comment down below with your question. So next question or suggestions are preventative catalytic converter theft. So we know that thefts across the country, primarily bigger cities, but it does happen across the country on catalytic converters is through the roof. Obviously, they're made out of a lot of high quality, high-end materials that sell for a lot of money. So thieves being thieves will go and sawzall off the catalytic converters underneath the car. So I've only seen one situation where they open a hood and sawzall the cat off the manifold style cars, which is most of the newer style vehicles. And what they don't know is that these newer vehicles, they're not worth as much as the older vehicle catalytic converters just due to the nature of the components that is inside of them. So, if you have an older Honda, like a 96, let's say, to 2005, 2006, maybe up to 08, you're going to want to be extra careful and protect your underneath catalytic converter as much as possible, especially if your O2 sensor is dead set in the middle of the catalytic converter shell. That means it has 1 and 2 cats in it. So if you have the cat here and you have an O2 sensor in a dead center, you actually have a 2-part cat. So, and those are worth a lot of money. So hence why they want to take them. Not only are they worth money, when they steal these cats, they usually cut the A pipe and the B pipe and the O2 sensor, costing you a ton of money. So again, related to the past question or the previous topic we talked about, this may total out the car, or you're going to have to come out the money, or you may not have full coverage insurance because you have an older vehicle. So now if you have a newer Honda, this could still be an issue. A lot of these thieves don't know that these cats, which are secondary cats on these newer vehicles, are actually a lot of cheaper metals used in them, and they go ahead and cut them anyways, costing you a ton of money regardless. So some things you could do, I've seen they sell all these types of kits to prevent these thefts. Obviously, nothing is bulletproof, and if they have enough will in them, they will take whatever they need to. But all you can do is slow them down. So again, buy one of those kits that they do sell for the cats, or you can get some rebar welded around them and get that rebar or metal or whatever welded to the actual vehicle. So obviously that's not a something that most of you may consider, because at some point your exhaust may need to get replaced and may cost you some extra money to get that exchanged, but something you could consider. Another thing is you may want to consider an alarm system with some sort of sensing, whether it be due to a proximity sensor, or when the car moves in a certain direction. It may also, or vibrations may also trigger the alarm. Also, if you are eligible or can park the vehicle as close as possible to your house or in your garage, that's great. A lot of people don't have that option. So a floodlight, or if your neighbor has a camera with a floodlight, try to be strategic with these where your vehicle parking. It's unfortunate that we do have to do this, but it is a big issue here in New Jersey. I'm probably half an hour from New York City, and we see tons of thefts on radars, catalytic converters, you name it, airbags, SRS units. It's crazy. I mean, the theft is just through the roof here. So that's just one of the easiest things to steal, because literally it's like a 30-second procedure, and they usually have a lookout guy or two. So they're very well trained, and unfortunately, again, that's just something that's super easy to get to, and it does make some noise, but they come late at night, they follow your schedule, whatever the case may be. and it's just something that we had to deal with. So all we could do is try to prevent or slow them down from trying to take whatever they're trying to take that's valuable on your particular vehicle. So if you guys want, I could make a video on high theft items on X vehicles too. Make sure you drop a comment down below if that's a video you, ladies and gentlemen, would be interested in seeing. With that being said, I'll catch everyone on the next one.